My art journey officially started in 2019. I have come a very long way, and you're about to see the ins and outs of my art journey. So in 2019, I started off by doing basic portraits. And as you can see, there's not much going on. So I think I had a blender tool, but I never actually found out how to use it properly. So I was just doing whatever I wanted with it. Not crazy bad proportions, but Whoa. Alright. So in 2019, I really wanted to do portrait realism, and I just wasn't getting there. 2019 was something, and I think it needs to go back in the cupboard. To see the white gel pen used. That was something I was obsessed with, the white gel pen. I wanted to use it on every bit of highlight I could. So not much was going on in 2019. Basic portraits, and that's about it. Nothing major in my journey just yet. As it got near to the end of 2019, I carried on with these drawings into 2020, and I was then influenced by TikTok. So during 2020, I was obsessed with aesthetic sketchbook pages. I wanted them to be everything that I saw on TikTok that was trending. So I completely ditched portraits. There's not really much going on here, just cartoony sketchbook pages. I guess during this time it kind of looks like I was trying to develop my own style, but I also think I was just influenced by TikTok. 2020 TikTok, to be specific. I took this book everywhere with me, even for short walks, drives, and everywhere. I took it everywhere, and there's still pages left, loads of pages left, and I'm actually really surprised by that. And of course, the Harry Potter Slytherin. I just had to buy that, didn't I? Yeah, not much going on in this book. Not much going on here. Upgrading techniques wise, it's just very 2020 coded. And that book was the only one I ever used during 2020, so there's no other art from 2020. Heading into 2021, I started to stick to a cartoony style. I left the book behind and I started to do A4 sized cartoons. I guess you could call it cartoons. I don't really know what style you'd call it. I've got a really small portfolio here, and I'm just looking through it. So it looks like I attempt a bit of realism during the start of 2021. Yeah! But I don't commit fully to it. Ah yes, here we go. So I loved making OCs, and I think 2021 was just full of OCs. They probably have loads of lore, and I just don't remember. Anatomy wise, not much happening. I think the portrait aspect of it is upgrading a bit. I must have done a piece every other day, so my skills were really getting somewhere. Because I remember I stuck all of these on my wall during 2021, just so I was like surrounded by creativity and stuff. I actually still like some of these. I don't think half of them are that bad. In 2021, I started heading towards alcohol markers more and fine liner and media like that. Yeah, I was really into cartoons and comics. And then near to the end of 2021, I started to drift away from art. I don't think there was a specific reason, I just kind of got sick of it. Maybe I thought my skills weren't going anywhere, so I just had to give up for a bit. Which you should never do, don't give up. Don't give up. In 2022, early 2022, I must have gone to like an art shop to look at just sketchbooks, or I just got dragged along or something like that, and I got this really amazing sketchbook. I've never had a sketchbook like it. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just because of the square shape and the paper, but it was one of my favourite sketchbooks of all time. When I got this sketchbook, I started to do a lot more like neater sketchbook spreads, and I spent a lot more time on them, like even on the small doodles and stuff. I carried on trying to make it like aesthetic. Like, am I even saying the word right? Yeah, aesthetic. I was trying to make aesthetically pleasing sketchbook pages, just like with a lot of stuff going on, detailed and just cute stuff. I spent a lot more time using just pencil, and you can see how I just started to take in more aspects of realism. So I was using different sized pencils to just practice shading. After making a lot of these sketchbook pages and seeing how my work was developing, I started to take it very seriously, and I wanted to sell my art, so I locked in and I forced myself to practice realism. So every other piece from 2022 was always realism. Did a couple of cartoony stuff here and there, but I just stuck to realism. I locked in and I wanted to do realism for everything. I was homeschooled, and I think that helped a lot because every single day I was practicing something. Again, I got burnt out, and near the end of 2022 I stopped doing art completely. I think it's because I must have been trying to do a realism piece every single day to try and build my skills. But obviously you're going to get burnt out. So I stopped drawing until around spring of 2023. And at that time I was planning to go to college in September, so I wanted to work on my skills again. I started again by doing realism. Because I wanted to do realism so bad, and I don't want to get burnt out, I decided to also focus on a small A5 size sketchbook, which I would take everywhere with me. So in between these realism pieces, to try and have a break, but also not lose my skills in a way, I just did doodles and anything I wanted, really. When I started college in September of 2023, I was scared to branch out of just drawing. I thought that I wouldn't be good at anything else, and that's why I didn't want to do anything else, even though if you're doing an art course, especially like a foundation one, you're going to be doing all sorts. So during that time, it really pushed me out of my comfort zone. But I think everyone should do that. I think you shouldn't just do one thing, just try it all and then focus on something specific. I feel like by doing all this random stuff on my art courses, it's upgraded my skills like subconsciously into what I want, so with painting and drawing and stuff. It's like I really got into photography, and I still like photography, and I think it's helped me with understanding colour more and composition and stuff like that. So in 2024, that's when I started to attempt painting. Woo! It must have been on my third or fourth project at college, and I thought, I think I'm just going to try painting. At this time, I also really got into Vincent van Gogh, so that inspired me to paint more. From my sketchbook here, it looks like I attempted an acrylic animation. I think this looks like my first painting. And then I immediately move on to using oil paint, which is actually very ambitious. So this looks like one of my first oil paintings that I had tried. So this painting was of an artist I saw on Instagram. He works with oil. I think this was an artist response. Then I also did this colourful piece. The reference was of my brother. It's okay. It's not my best colour work. But again, I wasn't using oil paints the way they are supposed to be used. From then on, it was a lot of mixed media stuff. So I have no idea which order the rest of my sketchbooks are in. And none of them have dates. So I'm just assuming here of what date they're at. So it seems like my next project was actually a portrait project. In this project, it doesn't look like I focused on painting a lot, more charcoal and back to my tonal drawings. That must have been the rest of 2024. So it looked like I attempted the oil paints at the start of 2024 and then I didn't really want to go any further. But in my own time, I was focusing on acrylic portraits. The next portrait I did was of Kendrick Lamar. Now, I must have done this in spring of 2024, or maybe a bit later. So at the start of 2025, I got a surrealism project, and I think I chose to do surrealism through portraits. A lot of tonal works in here, no painting or anything like that. Until I got to my final piece of the project and I made a somewhat large scale oil piece. So I did this on a piece of wood, which didn't really help the outcome, but I think it was okay for a large surrealism scale oil piece. Now, I don't have my college sketchbooks from nearer to the end of 2025 to 2026, so I'm just going to talk about what I did in my own time. So around the end of 2025, I really worked on acrylic paintings. I made a lot of gifts for people at Christmas time, and I knew that's something I really wanted to focus on. So I hadn't really found my style yet. I was still finding my style, and I still had the thought in my head, oh, realism is the only thing that you'll be able to sell, and this and that about realism. And that's a really negative thought process, and I think it stunted me for a while to not explore anything new or try and find a style. And I don't think people should think like that. In early 2026, I focused on some oil pieces, but I'm just not really into oil. I love acrylic. I think acrylic is just the all-time media. For the rest of 2026, I've been continuing my acrylic work, but I've also now started to do some digital work, which is something I'm very pleased about. I think my advice is very cliche, but it's true, where it's just practice every single day. Whenever you can practice, practice. I used to think, oh, practice every single day. Everyone says that, but it's the truth. If you practice every single day, you're going to get better. Another thing is being around people who do art is very helpful. Like being in the creative environment makes you so motivated, and it makes you want to do more. So I think when I went to college, that really helped me, because seeing other people's skills and stuff, it like rubs off on you, and they give you advice, critiques. I think that helps. Another thing is, don't be afraid of constructive criticism. If somebody's telling you something about your art and it can genuinely be helpful, don't ignore it. Take it in, learn something from it. And my final words are, just keep going. It might take a long time, it might take a short time. There might be ups, there might be downs, but you need to keep going.